Today we are exploring the under-recognized experience of sibling loss. Learn why and how this is a different type of grief from other sources of loss. Learn how to care for yourself if you have lost a brother or sister, and also learn how to support someone who is a bereaved sibling. My name is Jo McRogers and I am a grief specialist. I have created this YouTube channel in order to explore, support, and to do grief differently. Please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications bell so that you'll know each time I post a new video that explores all things grief. Let's first look at why losing a sibling is a different kind of loss. When a sibling dies, those siblings who are left behind, no matter what their ages, they are considered secondary mourners, either to the parents of the child or adult child, or to the wife and children of the person who has died. For those siblings who are still living at home, the loss of this sibling becomes a double loss. They will often lose their parents for a time as the parents grieve the death of their deceased child. Parents can become naturally so engrossed in the grief of their loss that they overlook the fact that their living children still need reassurance, that their living children are grieving in their own unique way, and that those children need to know that they are still loved and wanted. Children will often say that they felt that they were left out, that everyone comforted the parents, but no one asked them specifically about their own unique grief. Take care of your mom is a common phrase. The sibling's loss is often seen only in the context of the family system. After the death of a child, there is a tendency for the parents also to become overprotective. This limits the other siblings to take fewer risks. The surviving children not only has to deal with their own trauma, but then they have to deal with the implications and the constraints that this loss puts upon the parenting. This protectiveness can even interfere with children's future relationships, with their sense of safety, with their sense of risk-taking, and their own emotional accessibility. Whatever your relationship is like with your brother or sister, they are the ones who have always been there on birthdays, on weekends, on travels, on big family events. There was a rhythm to the way you interacted, whether you were supporting one another, whether you were arguing with one another or provoking one another. They are the ones that you have a shared history with and that you anticipated a shared future with. The death of a sibling not only changes you, but it changes your relationship with other siblings and with your parents. Whether the loss was from a short or long illness or a sudden tragic death, the death of a sibling makes for a shock. It can make life feel so ungrounded. It is an out-of-order death. While we largely avoid grief anyways, we on some level anticipate the death of our elders. However, when it's our siblings who pass, siblings are supposed to be there for our future. They are supposed to be there to celebrate job promotions, to meet our mates, to celebrate milestones, to support our aging parents, to help celebrate any achievements or milestones that they may then achieve also. When dealing with a sibling's loss, you may grieve many different losses. So let's look now at how this is a different grief. First of all, for a child who loses a sibling, the death of a sibling is a tremendous loss. A surviving child may feel the need to fill in for the deceased sibling, or they may worry that the parents would have preferred that they were the ones who died, or that they can never live up to the sibling who has passed. No child can live up to the idealized memory of their dead brother or sister. It is important to recognize the grief of the surviving siblings and to support them individually with their own unique grief. Next, when the sibling who dies is an adult sibling. Well, the loss of an adult sibling also brings grieving on many, many levels. If you were close with that sibling, there's a double loss. There is the grief of the loss of the person in your life, and there is the grief of the loss of the friendship and a family bond. You not only lost a sibling, but a friend and sometimes a mentor who guided you and encouraged you in a way that is different than parents can encourage you. Conversely, if you had a challenging, stressful relationship with your sibling, you may then be grieving the loss of a chance at resolution. For example, maybe while you loved and cared for your sibling, there also existed a tension or a competition, a frustration in the relationship. Sometimes it's full of disappointments. After their death, you're then left with this compounded grief. Not only are they gone, but this challenge is now that there is no more time. We often assume that with a sibling, there will be time to work things out, to find resolution, to get to be good together again. In families with siblings, there is also a natural pecking order, and this can be derived from birth order or male and female roles, religion or cultural roles. When a sibling dies, family members then need to take a hard look at family structure, roles, and responsibilities. Looking at these roles and responsibilities can be very hard to do when everybody is experiencing grief. Examples might be if your late sibling was the leader in the family, other siblings might feel at a loss as to how to be able to step into those shoes, how to fill that role. The mother or father may have relied on that particular sibling to support them, and so now how will someone else step into that role? This often brings up questions for the surviving siblings. If mom and dad relied on a particular sibling and you live far away, do you then need to uproot your life and community in order to be able to support them? Taking on these new roles is very difficult as you are grieving your own loss as well. Surviving siblings may be clamoring to figure out roles and responsibilities or not. It can be a very ungrounding time as your known and shared lifelong history has now ended and the future remains undefined. Are you a sibling whose grief was lost? If so, please leave a comment below. Please let us know what was the most supportive comment or action that helped you in this largely unrecognized grief. So next, let's look at self-care if you are a bereaved sibling. Please share your grief with other family members. Your entire family members are grieving the loss of your brother or sister, but each person grieves in their own way. Talking about your shared grief can help you work through the pain and the sadness together. You may not all understand each other's pathways of grief, but each one needs to be respected individually and uniquely. Also, find support outside of your family. It can be helpful to seek support within your family, but it can also be hard for some family members to offer perspective or consolation when they are also experiencing their own grief. Because of this, please consider talking with your loss with people outside of your family circle, whether it be a strong friend, whether it be a clergy or a mentor, whether it be a grief counselor or perhaps a peer support group. Please find a place to have your feelings and experiences validated. Please also forgive yourself. Siblings compete and argue and challenge each other all of the time. It's part of being a sibling. Please forgive yourself for any unkind things you did or said, or for things that you wish you had done and didn't do or had said and left unspoken. Forgive yourself for not maintaining a close enough relationship with your sibling. It does not mean on any level that you did not love or care for them. Please take care of your mental, emotional self. Feeling extremely sad or numb are normal reactions to having lost a sibling. Find a way to support and express your own individual grief. Please take care of your physical health. Sometimes when the death of a sibling is the result of illness or disease, it can bring to us a hypervigilance of our own health. Please take good, rational, grounded care of your health. Find ways to remember your sibling. I believe that finding ways to memorialize your brother or your sister can help to keep his or her memory alive and maintain a feeling of connection. You may decide to make a family memory book with photos and stories. You might consider volunteering towards the illness that took their life. You might raise money for a charity that was important to them. Write letters to your sibling, talk to them, spend moments in prayer or meditation, connecting with them. Dedicate your walks or your runs to them, light candles, hold religious ceremonies. I honestly believe that finding ways to express and maintain this connection with your sibling is one of the ways that grief asks us to act. So, in conclusion, the loss of a sibling asks for special consideration in your grief. You become a surviving sibling. The task of this source of grief is to find a way not just to live through this identity of survival. A bereaved sibling needs strong support and encouragement to integrate or reconcile this grief while defining their own new identity. If you have lost a sibling, please write their name in the comments below, and I will lovingly hold their names in my next meditation. If you have lost a sibling, I offer to you kind thoughts, kind words, and a kind heart on the grief of your brother or sister. Take care, and I will see you next time.